Hi, folks. Hope you guys are having a great day. It is Monday, just about New York close here, and I wanted to get an idea of market activity before I put out a video forecast for the week of July the 9th to the 13th. So, watching price action open up through the start of Monday's trading from Sunday's open to about now, we had kind of some interesting action happening. Now, you can see here, this is the Monday candle opening up on which is today, July 7th, for the U.S. dollar index. We had an update. Price came, ran down, ran just a little bit lower than this low right here, and I'll just make a note of this so you can see it. And I'm going to change up these colors a little bit. I'm getting a little bit too much blue on the chart. So you can see price had run down and just taken out the low under this candle here. Now, I'm not sure if this is exactly how your chart looks like. If I go over to another chart that I've got here, you can see here how deeply these two candles went in to this consolidation area right here, where it basically took out the low from here. Well, this other demo account that I have, and I always try to keep a couple of them going just so I can confirm price, but you can see here how price just touched off of this level and it has rejected. So that's, again, what I wanted to sort of see what was going to happen here to start out the day. So either or, I think price needs to move significantly higher in order to resume its bullish push up into here. I think for this week, though, we could be seeing some of the highs set into Monday and to Tuesday. I'm kind of actually anticipating the high is going to come in London open on Tuesday morning of the week, and then I think we could see price roll over from there. Now, again, there are a number of factors that are, that equates from the price of the U.S. dollar. Right now, they are in a trade war with China and the Federal Reserve. Again, I mean, you've all heard this before. This is nothing new. Federal Reserve is tightening monetary supply, and so with that, the price of the dollar should be going up. However, it has been on a very nice bull run, as you can see here, for the past 3 months or so. We've made a nice push up just to clear these highs here. Prices went 1, 2, 3 times, just taking out the old high from here and traded off, and it took out this short-term low. So we're kind of at a very important level right here. If price runs any higher, so I have 93.80 marked on the chart here, which was basically just a return back down to this small consolidation area right here. If we see price run up much higher than that, and I wouldn't want to see price, let me put it this way, if price goes higher than 94.40, I think it will run back up and potentially re-challenge the high. So I'll be watching that going into London to see how much they want to push price higher. I believe they will probably roll price up a little bit more, but I'm kind of more of the assumption that they may want to stop this thing at about the 94 level. Maybe not even that high. They may fail to get to the back up to the 94. So I'll just put that on the chart for right now. Zoom in a little bit here. So that's sort of what I'm looking at, and then I'm looking for price to kind of stall out and then fall over. The only reason being they've come down once, they've come down twice, and they went lower than the swing low here. I think they may want to take price a little bit lower. There's definitely an area under 92.90 right here that I have dog tagged on the chart here that I think they may want to return down, and that's just basically a return to these equal lows here to gather up some of the liquidity, and then they could want to push this thing higher. Ultimately, I mean, there's several levels above the market that I've been identifying here that we could see price return to. The 96.60 level will definitely be one of them. To the upside. And if price does want to go lower, from here, I would suggest that this area in here would offer some sort of significant support to price. If not, it would take a pretty significant move to push it through that. But that's sort of what I'm looking at. Short-term bearish. I think price could run lower going into the week here to long-term bullish. And again, price returning up to here. But I think we could be in for a little bit of downside. So with that being said, I'm kind of going to hesitate to say as to how deep this thing could go this week. I think definitely 92 levels could be reached if they do want to push this thing down. If they do want to eventually push this up, it's going to take a couple of pretty good runs to get higher than the old high in here. And that's why I say I'll be watching this 94.40 level to get broken. If that gets broken, then we know there's going to be a return to 95 big figure and higher, and a potential run of this old high right here. And this was just a shallow retrace back down to scoop up some of the liquidity under here. Now again, looking at the two platforms, right, this one had reversed in a fairly logical level. I had actually called that level a couple of, I think it was early last week. You can see what price did on the start of the week. It pushed up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday was a big down close, and it slammed right into this area right here. So that's sort of what I'm looking at to see if we are going to continue higher. That 94.40 level will get pushed through. If it doesn't, then we should see a fade off into London Open and a return lower, and that's why I'm targeting down here. So we'll just have to sort of wait and see. Now we can still analyze several other markets and get a line on that. One of them would be a potential setup going into London Open for the euro. This is sort of what I'm looking at going into London Open for Tuesday. So we'll see if we get any type of movement sideways, and then potentially a run down into that 1725 level. Now if this level gets broken, just keep this in mind here. This level in here, if this area right here gets broken, and I'm going to bring this down here, you know, to basically about this, I mean, I wouldn't even say that, 1710, somewhere in around there. If 1710 gets broken and they really start pushing down, there's one level down here where underneath prices right here where they could want to return. But if we don't start to see any bullish movement under here, then I'm going to assume price is going to roll over and it's going to fall off, and in turn we'll probably end up seeing a push higher, much higher in the US dollar. So that's sort of what I'm looking at and going into London, creating a low, coming down into the buy zone right into here, and then a potential high, a potential long run for the week, I would say up into the 118.60 area. Again, price is going to definitely, price will have to convincingly, you know, come down in here and do a failure swing. And I'll be watching price during London Open to see if we get that. And then I'll put out a signal to all of our members, obviously, if we do get that. But, you know, one more time, you know, it created a lower low here, and then it failed to create another lower low when the US dollar was making a higher high. So that kind of leads me to believe that there could be potential strength in the euro, and so that's why I'm calling. I think these highs over in here could get raided. So we'll just have to wait and see. Price definitely hit a very significant area here. We came up to a high today and hit 117.90 basically, and that just coincides with an old low right back in here of 117, not that candle there, this guy. These see how there's some confluence with these three candles right in here. They're all putting in their lows right there. That comes in, if you can see the bottom of my chart down there, at about 117.90 as well too. So that's why we saw that reaction off of today's early New York Open reaction right there. And I think we're going to push lower right down into this old consolidation area right here where these candles come up 1, 2, 3 times right in there, and then we should see some sort of a support level form and a bounce ensue. Not to mention this old high back in here, very high level of confluence, and I think we'll probably get a good reaction there. Now, whether it wants to continue up higher and take out this old high and eventually reach over to these highs here, that's going to remain to be seen. But we will be looking at putting in some kind of a buy order here on the reaction coming out, and then we'll go from there. So pound dollar had a nice reaction off of this area over in here. So this area in here really acted as a level of resistance for the pound dollar. And that's what I was actually watching to see what would happen if price would want to return up into there today, and then see what reaction had happened. I would have liked to have gotten in on Sunday's candle down into here and taken a long, but I elected to wait to see what would happen when price traded up there. Now that it's done it and it's traded up, what I'm going to be looking for here is basically, I wouldn't be looking for price to go any lower. See this candle, these candles right in here? I'm not looking for price to go any lower than that. So 132.20 to 130, 200, basically, that is, I wouldn't even say this low. Let's see if we can get an exact level on here. Again, assuming that the US dollar does want to push lower, it will in turn push the Euro USD and the pound dollar higher. So if that's going to remain true, price should not want to break down below this 13200 level. It should just sort of rally in here and consolidate going into London, maybe making one last little return lower. But you can see how they ran price up, dropped it back down, scooped up all the liquidity under here, and so far price is holding that level. At the very worst case scenario, like I say, they shouldn't want to go down. They may want to come down one more time and take out this low here, just to get anybody out, but I wouldn't suggest a run any lower than that as being viable for a run higher. And if they do want to start taking out this low and start hitting, the 130, 160 levels and things like that, then price is just going to roll over and go lower on the week, and we can look at some different ideas to form for the week. But you can see here, very, very nice bullish price action. Now, pound dollar was one of those ones that did create a lower low. So as the US dollar was making a higher back here, the middle of June, it rolled back up and came down one more time, took out the lower low, took out the old low, created a lower low as the US dollar was making a higher high, and then it's rejected. It's come way up into here, so nice bullish activity. That's kind of why I believe that they could be looking for higher prices. Whether it be short term, long term, I don't know yet. But that's sort of what we're looking at for the pound. So we'll go from there. I'm not going to really discuss too much on Euro GBP. We're still sort of stuck. Well, it has made a nice push thus far out of the consolidation range. But we still haven't taken out the old weekly highs yet. So I'm going to be watching for that. I've been calling for higher prices on here. I think they want to take it above this high up into here. I'll actually just grab this price tag and maybe move it up here. So about the 89.70 level, I think, is what they could be reaching for. But they've really been chopping this thing sideways. This is very, very ugly price action to trade. So I don't typically trade this pair. I'll just use it kind of as a barometer for what the Euro USD and the pound dollar are doing. So if we do get a nice push up on this, we should see that equal push higher on the Euro USD. So that's kind of what I'm banking for. And you can see that as well through here. They are pushing this thing lower here, whereas this is making a higher high. So they're manipulating it. I think they're going and they're grabbing up the liquidity underneath the market here just to crank this thing higher, and we could get a real nice bull move off of this. So I'm going to be watching that. Not going to talk too much. I'm going to keep this a short session today. Crude oil still sitting chopping. I'm looking for a run lower. I want to see if there's any willingness to come lower in here. So far, not. They're really using this area of support, but I just have a feeling that this could be just sort of a false sort of a sense of security for crude oil. They could want to run this price down. Now, I don't think long term we're going to see lower prices on crude oil or anything like that. That's not what I'm suggesting at all. I think we're going to see much, much higher prices on crude. I think this thing could get up into 80s easily, but short term, I want to see this thing drop down like this. They had an explosive move up here, and 1, 2, 3 candles so far, and haven't retraced back any lower. I would really like to see them come down and push back down to the 69.30 level to see if we can scoop up some liquidity. If they do that, I'm going to get all over the longs, and I'm going to hold until about 80. But I'm a little hesitant to buy right here. If price makes one more push down and maybe tries to take out this candle here and wicks down, I might consider a long position, but I really want to see some sort of retracement on this before I get in going long. So copper has really fallen off, and I was actually, see this line down here? I've been calling this level down here as a sort of a line in the sand. If price wanted to come up and take out these lows here, I would go right to there, and then if it broke that level, then this would be the ultimate goal. And so you can see here on Friday, it almost touched that level right there, and Monday so far has been pushing higher. But I think we could see lower prices still yet to come on copper. So just keep that in mind if you are looking at this guy here. We could see lower prices yet, and But I would suspect some sort of area of support down in here. I'm going to do a little bit more research on copper moving forward, but I think we could see a level of support. So I'm going to be watching for that and some potential for a bounce. If price does want to start trading higher, we'll just wait for the retest to come back down, and that would be basically just a retrade off of this candle here, and then we'll see this thing getting longer. So, or moving higher, I mean. That's pretty much about it. I don't see anything else that I want to discuss as of yet. Sugar so far is stalling out. I'll be watching that one there. And nat gas. Nat gas, I'm looking for a return back down to the $2.75 range. If we do get that, then I'll be looking for some bullish activity on that one. And Bitcoin doing nothing. So anyway, so that's about it, guys. I just wanted to kind of do a real quick overview where I think some of the levels are going to head for the week. My eyes are going to be on London Open for Tuesday on the US dollar. If we make that failure swing higher, I will be getting long on Euro USD, so as I've discussed here. So we'll wait and watch for that, and if it pans out, great. If not, we'll readjust the strategy going for the week forward. So thanks, guys. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. I appreciate your time, and we will talk to you. I'll be doing a live session going into London Open as well too, so you can watch for that, and I will post the links when I'm ready to jump on there. Probably be a little bit later, towards about 1 a.m. New York time, somewhere in and around there, but I will keep you updated, like I say, if anything changes, but plan for that. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your Monday, and we'll catch up to you here real soon.